Good morning. As a school community, we are gathered in the solemn act of remembrance. This act of remembrance gives us the time to stop and think of all those, not just in World War I, but in all the many wars since what was supposed to be the war to end all wars, who have made the ultimate sacrifice, the sacrifice of life. And I want you to think about that for a moment, the word sacrifice. Over the past few years, due to the pandemic, we have had, as a nation, to give up a great deal. We lost many of our personal freedoms during the lockdowns. We lost face-to-face education, and in some terrible cases, we lost loved ones. These were difficult and challenging sacrifices we had to make for the sake of others. Now try and imagine the scale of the sacrifices which had to be made during World War I. Not just the loss of freedoms or the disruption to everyday life, but the sacrifice of life. The fact that so many people went to war knowing that they may never come back. This is why we have to have the act of remembrance. We have to commemorate the ultimate sacrifice so many people made. We have to talk and think about the suffering and the loss, the bravery and the acts of heroism. The privileges we take for granted today belong to us because so many people were willing to sacrifice their lives to ensure future generations were free. They were free from oppression and fear. And whilst that dream has not been fully realised, it is still a dream we must hold on to and do everything in our power to achieve. World War I ended over a lifetime ago, but that does not mean that we cannot hear about those who lost their lives all that time ago. 379 old boys of this school took up arms in the Great War. 117 of them died, alongside a master of the school. They were either killed in action, died of their wounds, or succumbed to illness. Their average age was just 20 years old, and the youngest, Leonard Lloyd, was just 16. Fred Chester signed up when he was only 15 years old. He survived 3 years and 8 months of the war before being killed aged 18. He died 12 weeks before the end of the war. 4 pairs of brothers were killed. 4 families lost their only sons. The story of war is, unfortunately, the story of man's inhumanity to man. Lawrence Binyon, a British poet who was alive during World War I, wrote a poem called The Fallen, and it is part of this poem which we use during remembrance.
They went with songs to the battle. They were young, straight of limb, true of eye, steady and aglow. They were staunch to the end against odds uncounted. They fell with their faces to the foe.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
Bent double, like old beggars under sacks, knock-kneed, coughing like hags, we cursed through sludge, till on the haunting flares we turned our backs, and towards our distant rest began to trudge. Men marched to sleep. Many had lost their boots but limped on, bloodshot. All went lame, all blind, drunk with fatigue, deaf even to the hoots of tired, outstripped 5-9s that dropped behind. Gas, gas, quick boys, an ecstasy of fumbling, fitting the clumsy helmets just in time. But someone still was yelling out and stumbling, and floundering like a man in fire or lime. Dim, through the misty panes in thick green light, as under a green sea I saw him drowning.
In all my dreams before my helpless sight, he plunges at me, guttering, choking, drowning. If in some smothering dreams you too could pace behind the wagon that we flung him in, and watch the white eyes writhing in his face, his hanging face like a devil sick of sin. If you could hear at every jolt the blood come gargling from the froth-corrupted lungs, obscene as cancer, bitter as the cut of vile, incurable souls on innocent tongues. My friend, you would not tell with such high zest to children ardent for some desperate glory the old lie, dulce et decorum est, pro patria mori.
This is the ultimate and most noble aim of remembrance. By the act of remembering, we ensure that those who died did not die in vain. By keeping their memories alive, we are reminded of the horror of war and conflict and the need to do everything we can to make sure that nation shall not lift up sword against nation anymore. Lovers brethren, thank you.